Another day, another war to fight. Your guns are loaded and your mind is clear, so let's frickin' do this. If you're a native English speaker, you should be quite familiar with these words. There, and there. You see, there, and there indeed sound exactly the same, obviously, but they are not only spelled differently, they also have separate and distinct meanings and grammatical functions. If you watched the previous video in the series, you should see a pattern forming here. English has a lot of words that have the same pronunciation but different meanings. In fact, this phenomenon can become so complicated that even highly intelligent individuals who speak and write fluent English struggle with using these words correctly. I hope your war paint is on and dried because the war is beginning. Spelled They''re, there is a contraction of the pronoun they and the verb are. Recall the contraction your from the last video. There is just like that, with the only difference being that your is from the second person perspective, whereas there is from the third person perspective. In other words, your is used when talking to someone, while there is used when talking about someone. Life truly is all about perspective, isn't it? Next, we have there, which is spelled Their. There is the third person possessive adjective. Remember your from the last video? Yep, it's just like that, except the perspective is different. Last but most certainly not least, we have the word there. Spelled There, there can be used as an adverb, pronoun, or even an interjection. In the following example, there is functioning as an adverb. You should stay there until the storm passes. Remember, an adverb is a word that describes a verb, adjective, or another adverb in some way. We have the verb phrase, should stay. Where should you stay? You should stay there. Now let's see there used as a pronoun. There are so many clouds in the sky today. From a glance, you may be tempted to conclude that there is the subject of the sentence. You would be wrong, however. When there is used in this way, it actually introduces the subject. So what's the main subject of this sentence? Hint, Bob Ross loves to draw them in his beautiful landscapes, and he makes it look so easy, but mine just end up looking like huge cotton balls floating up in the sky. To make the answer to this question extremely apparent, let's rewrite the sentence slightly differently. So many clouds are in the sky today. What is in the sky today? Yep, that's right, clouds. More specifically, so many clouds. So many clouds is the subject of the sentence, so what about there? Think of there as a placeholder for the subject. In other words, there is the pronoun appetizer you enjoy before the noun main course arrives. After all, the main course is what you ultimately came here for. It's like saying, hey, listen up, because I'm about to tell you what the subject of the sentence is. But remember, I am not the subject. See, our subject, so many clouds, is running a little late, so I'm here to cover their shit for a bit. Sorry for the inconvenience. Because pronouns are generic placeholders for their more specific noun counterparts, this means that the word there is indeed a pronoun in this example. Finally, there can be used as an interjection to add emotional intensity to a sentence. For example, there, I am finally done. If you watched the interjection video from the Parts of Speech series, which I highly recommend, you would know that interjections don't add anything to a sentence grammatically, so they aren't necessary. But they do add something special: emotion, feeling, impact. Conversational language would be rather boring if interjections weren't there to add some serious razzle-dazzle. Although there as an interjection probably isn't the first thing you think of when you hear the word, it can often evoke a strong, passionate feeling. Let's return to the example. There, I am finally done. Used in conjunction with an exclamation point, there stands alone as its own sentence, and perfectly conveys a sense of well-earned relief on the part of the speaker. This person has completed some task or tasks. Although we don't know what the person has done, we do know one thing. They are immensely relieved to have it done, implying that the task took a considerable amount of time to complete for whatever reason. Once again, we don't know the details, we can only feel the emotion behind the statement. To recap, there sound exactly the same, but have different meanings. There, spelled THY', is the shortened, aka contracted version of two words, they and are. They is a pronoun and are is a verb. Combine the two and voila, two become one. There is an adjective, which means it describes a noun. It's placed before the corresponding noun to demonstrate a possessive relationship between the individuals and the thing or things they own in some way. Such ownership can be literal or figurative. But don't you dare forget about the third word, there. There can be used in several ways. It can be an adverb, pronoun, or interjection. If it is an adverb, it answers the question, where? When it's used as a pronoun, there introduces its corresponding noun, which is also the subject. Lastly, there as an interjection simply shows how the speaker is feeling in that moment, adding no grammatical value. As with all interjections, there can be used by itself to make a full sentence, or as an additional component of an already complete sentence. Equipped with our weapons of knowledge, let the war begin. Battle number 1. Fill in the blank. They're such a lovely couple, right? In this sentence, we are referring to a couple, aka two individuals who have mutually agreed to be in an official romantic relationship with each other. By definition, a couple is a set of two things. This means that the subject is the couple, because they are what we are talking about. And as we know, they is a pronoun used to replace a plural noun. In short, they equals couple. But what about the verb? After all, we can't have a complete sentence without a verb. Are is the verb used alongside they to form the contraction there. Once there is added, an independent clause / complete sentence is formed. As such, there is the correct answer. Battle number 2. True or false? In the following sentence, the word there is functioning as an adverb. Yes, I can see there is no way out. False. There is functioning as a pronoun. You know when you and your friend are trapped in a dungeon somewhere and you can both hear the sweet, sweet whispers of death? Totally relatable, I know. Making sure you're both on the same page, you ask your partner in death if they acknowledge the lack of exits in the area. With sarcasm as their only weapon, your friend calmly replies, "Yes, I can see there is no way out. Thanks for that, bestie." Sure, darkness may be encroaching, but at least you and your friend know that there in this sentence is indeed a pronoun, because it introduces the noun way, and in doing so, it temporarily replaces the noun. A word that replaces a noun is, in fact, a pronoun. Battle number 3. Fill in the blank. I am here, you are there. Location, location, location. It's an essential component of business, sure, but it's also a crucial element of language. Where am I? I am here. Are you here too? Nope, you are not here, and because you are not here, you have to be there, for one cannot be here and there at the same time. It has something to do with physics or something, man, I don't know. In this example, there is functioning as an adverb of place or location. It modifies the be verb, are, by describing where you are physically located. Therefore, there is the correct answer. Battle number 4. Fill in the blank. You should try the new Italian restaurant. Their pizza is incredible. One doesn't need a degree in the culinary arts to know delicious food when they taste it, and people can be extremely passionate about food, am I right? Honestly, who doesn't love pizza? While having a pleasant conversation with a loved one, you tell them about the pizza experience you had at the newest Italian restaurant in your area. Because this specific pizza is something that this establishment provides themselves, it belongs to them. Battle number 5. Which word should fill the blank in the following sentence? D. None of the above. To understand why none of these words are appropriate in this sentence, let's use context clues. First, we have the sentence, "It's not mine." Mine is a possessive pronoun. It's a word that replaces a noun and relates to ownership. Now let's assume we are talking about a dog. More specifically, we are discussing who the owner of this precious dog is. We could say, the dog is not mine. When written this way, it becomes a little more obvious that the dog is the noun we are talking about, and it is the pronoun that replaces said noun. So mine is a pronoun, and I'm saying that the dog is not mine, implying that the dog belongs to someone else. It, the dog, is not mine. It, the dog, is theirs. Just like the word mine, theirs is a possessive pronoun. It's close to the possessive adjective their, with the difference being part of speech. Let's rephrase both sentences. It is not my dog, it is their dog. We are conveying the same message, only the semantics have changed. Battle number 6. Fill in all the blanks in the following sentence. They're selling their house to the people over there. In this sentence, all 3 words are at play, so our goal is to place the words in the correct order. Filling in the first blank there takes care of 2 of the 3 components of an independent clause, the subject, they, and the verb, are. Because the second blank precedes a noun, there really is only one choice here, their. As we know, there is an adjective that demonstrates the possessive nature of something and the thing that something owns. The house being sold is their house. For the third and final blank, the word there is the winner. Functioning as an adverb, there describes the location of the people the house is being sold to. Battle number 7. Fill in the blank. I love their wavy blonde hair. Just like people, languages evolve. This means that rules are sometimes bent or in extreme cases abandoned altogether. An excellent example of this phenomenon is the use of their as a third-person singular possessive adjective. Traditionally, there is third-person plural, but when things are not very clear, especially in terms of preferred gender or number, there can replace his or her when they simply don't work or accurately portray the situation or concept. In this example, there is used because, well, the gender of the individual is not clear. All we see is hair, and said hair could be on the head of a boy, girl, man, woman, male, female, or whatever else. Shoot, it could even be on a mannequin for all we know, which is the entire point. We don't know, and it's usually not right to assume. Despite going against its traditional use, there would be correct, although a strong argument for the gender-specific possessive adjective her could also be made. Battle number 8. The following sentence is grammatically correct. True or false? Do you know where they're going? True. In this single sentence, we have 2 clauses, one independent clause, do you know, and one dependent clause, where they're going. Remember, whether the clause is independent or dependent, there must always be a subject and a verb. For this reason, there is the one and only correct choice, because as a contraction, it joins the subject and verb together. Without it, we would have a heavily flawed sentence. So, how did you do on the quiz? Did you get a perfect score? If you did, congrats, you're officially a grammarist. If you missed a question or 2, don't you worry, you pretty little head. Language is straight up hard, and there's always something to learn. With some time and a little dedication, however, anyone can master any language, and yes, that includes English.